Hey, it is Money Monday, and question today, what is the middle class anyway? In a new Pew Research poll, 87% of Americans say they fit into that middle class category, 87%. Yet in another report, nearly half of all Americans say they cannot cover an unexpected $400 expense. And get this, more than a quarter of people who make $100,000 a year say they would have the same problem, just coming up with $400. Certified Financial Planner Joe Bert joins us now to discuss that this morning. All right, Joe, let's talk about your definition of middle class. What is it?
Well, it's different for everybody. As you said, John, the opening, most everybody, 87% consider themselves middle class. It's lower middle class, and upper middle class. And so we're basically in the middle class. I remember growing up as a kid, I considered myself middle class, but looking back, you know, I had 2 pairs of shoes. I had school shoes. I had play shoes. I had a couple pairs of slacks, a couple of shirts. My family had 1 car, and I thought we were middle class. But looking back today, we're probably lower middle class.
Yeah, probably so. I think a lot of people have that situation. Right. Now, okay, middle class income is what they may have, but they're not saving any money, and that's a big problem. What are the big mistakes they're making?
I think it all gets back to credit, John. You know, it's the immediate thing. We want to satisfy what we want when we want it, so we put it on a credit card. And unfortunately, when you do that, and if you can't pay it off every month, you end up paying 2 or 3 times more over the course of years than what that really costs. And if you look back at really where we've come as a society, you know, the credit really came into vogue in about 1958 when Bank of America, remember Bank of America, which is now Visa, was offered to the general public. And now that it's offered to the general public, most everybody has a credit card, at least 1, 2, sometimes 3. We go to the store, everybody wants to give you a credit card, so we put it on credit because we want it now. And that's what's really hurting, I think, the American society.
You know, in one of those similar articles, Joe, people, if you would have told them how much you're making today 15 years ago, they said, oh, wow, I'll be rich, right?
Yeah,
but your expenses always rise with income. So how do you not fall into that trap of spending whatever you make?
The bottom line, John, is separate wants from needs. And unfortunately, we confuse the two. What we want to do, what we need to do is obviously satisfy the needs. What do we need? We need food, we need clothing, we need shelter. And then the wants, we have to discipline ourselves. But unfortunately, because of the, once again, the ease of credit and because of the effectiveness of Madison Avenue to get us to want to buy this stuff and the peer pressure that we have, you know, you got to have the cell phone, you got to have the latest car, you got to have the flat screen TV, all that stuff, keep up with the Joneses. That's where we get into trouble.
That's right. And the Joneses aren't around when you need to retire. That's the problem.
You got
it. All right, Joe Bert, Certified Financial Group. You see his big sign right there along I-4. How can people find you?
Just Google me, Joe Bert, B-E-R-T. Thanks,
All right,
John.
Joe. Always good to see you. We'll talk to you soon. Amy?